Having everything systematized and in place gives us the opportunity to say, okay, let's steer this ship this way a little bit. I think this is a great area to go in, or I think this is a great area to go in. When you have all the systems in place and everybody knows what they're responsible for, we have the ability and the time to say, okay, let's try this market.
Welcome to the Construction Leading Edge podcast from constructionleadingedge.com. My name is Todd Dawalt, spelled D-A-W-A-L-T. I'm your host. And here at Construction Leading Edge, we're all about helping construction business owners have more freedom, more impact, and more wealth by systematizing your construction business. Think self-managing company, a business that runs without you. Recently, our Director of Customer Success, Leah Hostetter, sat down with our clients, John Springstead and his daughter, Shannon, and here's what they talked about. John started remodeling back in 1991, and he decided he wanted to take the business to a whole new level and what that looked like. You'll hear about what John was projecting into the future. John shares about how the business was affecting him outside of work and some of the things he did to change that. He talks about what the lead guy in the field realized after going through what we call the Nail the Handoff session. They talk about how they've empowered their team and some of the results that they've experienced since doing that. John talks about how he's started to think differently and why he started to think differently about giving away free estimates. And they talk about their experience going through our Systematize Your Construction Business program and what's different about their business now. So let's get to this interview with John and Shannon Springstead, hosted by our Director of Customer Success, Leah Hostetter.
John and Shannon Springstead, thank you so much for joining me today. Really excited to chat with you a little bit about your experience in the SYCB program. Would you share a little bit about yourselves and your business?
I've been remodeling since 1991. This company, John Springstead Construction, I started in 2011, and I am a remodeling contractor, GC. Shannon has been with me since 2020. And since she has joined, I've sort of wanted to take this to another level. We have a great reputation in our area. We do a lot of really nice jobs. And since Shannon has come on board, certainly freed up my time a little bit to try and push this company to wherever she wants to take it and or I want to go. And it's been a great experience over the last 3 years. And
my dad's always been in construction, and I've always kind of been around it. Didn't ask a lot of questions, but then before I graduated college, I asked him if he ever needed any help in his business, and he was like, of course I need help. So I decided to jump on board, and it's the best to learn from somebody like him who's been doing it for a really long time, and we kind of get to take this company wherever we want it to go.
It's kind of near and dear to my heart because my dad's also a general contractor and I grew up on the job site with him. So it's been fun to watch the two of you work together. Let's go back 2 or 3 months ago. So before you even started this program, and maybe even prior to that, what were some of the problems and challenges you were having in your business?
I have always been operating from a zero balance. I have never had working capital. Not that people didn't get paid, like we were paying people. I paid myself. Everybody was paid, but I've never had a profitable company other than a salary. And it frustrated me to no end that like at the end of every cycle, it's like, okay, I'm at zero. Okay, we're paid. We've done our work, but there's no profit. There's no, other than the salaries that are paid and there's zero. And so that is the single biggest reason why I said, I scheduled a call with Todd, like not even knowing what I was getting into. I was like, okay, listen, I'm just going to talk to this guy. I didn't know him, but I'd seen him before. And I was like, I'll talk to him and see how can it hurt?
Yeah.
That is the sole reason, is me being like tired of not being a profitable company. But I just mean like the company itself wasn't profitable. It doesn't mean I wasn't profitable, but the company itself was not growing in a way that I think it should, and I think we can.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my original reason for the call. And here we are now,
Here we are now. Yeah. Well, I imagine from that one main problem that you're addressing, there were probably a lot of frustrations and a lot of chaos and a lot of things that maybe kept you up at night. Can you tell us a little bit about how that affected you personally, like in your personal life, as well as even in business?
Listen, at the end of the day, I usually have a pretty busy day. And at the end of the day, when my head hits the pillow, I pretty much go to bed. But when there's financial problems or not, and my mind is racing and I can't sleep, It's usually because something in business is troubling me. Not so much at home. It's usually business related. And there are nights when, like, I would project into the future, like, oh my God, work stops. I got no money. How am I going to go forward? Like, those are the things that really, like, my customers were all happy. So I wasn't not afraid of my reputation being bad or anything like that, but it was always like this, and I don't even want to call it like an impending doom. I just always thought, like, okay, what happens if we don't land the job, or what happens if we, where do we go from here? And always thinking like that totally affects me at home because I'm not involved with my younger kids. Listen, I have 5 daughters, three of which are 2 older than Shannon and 2 significantly younger than Shannon. And we spend a lot of time with them. That was another reason that, like, the frustration, like, when is this gonna be different? And the reality is, if you don't change something, it's not going to be different. You're going to keep getting what you're doing.
Yeah. And I can imagine there's like this, almost this sense of like exhaustion. Like, yes, you're always able to make ends meet, but you're never quite pushing over that edge to where you're like,
yes,
like, we're okay.
Yes. Plus, I was also always on the phone after work, whether it was with my guys, and to no fault of theirs. They just wanted to know what was next, or the subs were, call at night after you leave the office, you go home and you're with your family and you're on the phone with subs or on the phone with employees. And, for my family, that's annoying because you're okay. When are you done? When are you done working? Can we go to the ballpark? Can we go to the club and swim? So when does that end? And so those are the things that are a little, like, too much.
Yeah.
So
kind of overwhelms your life. And I'm curious,
definitely.
Shannon, from your perspective, having grown up in all of this and then officially joined the company, what were some of the things that you experienced or that you noticed in working with your dad?
Well, he's like one of the hardest workers that I know, and he has a lot of drive. And I think when you have a lot of drive and somebody has a question for you, or somebody wants an answer and the answer, you're very inclined to just get the answer or figure out the answer. And he's always going to do that. And I think, to his point, that's when does it stop? And I think, with this kind of program, you kind of learn that you can delegate and you can empower your people to figure it out on their own or know where to go. And I think since he has so much knowledge about all this, that's, where we're trying to go. We're trying to say everyone can do these kinds of things. And, he's done it for a very long time, but anyone can do it, and we're going to give you the tools to do it. So I think you made a lot of good points of, when does it stop? But we're trying to get away from that to be like, it does stop, and other people can be responsible for that too.
Yeah. It's not just the one-man show with all the knowledge up here. Right. Exactly. And I'm sure that very much was how you were operating, John, because of just how everything was. So those are some challenging things. Those are some frustrating things. Let's now fast forward and into the program. At what point in this SYCB program were you guys like, oh, wow, this is going to work? This is going to help our business?
No doubt. When we did the Nail the Handoff meeting it was myself, Shannon, and our one lead guy who is like a super. He's running most of the jobs. We sat down in that room it was a couple hours easily, and we put down all the stuff that we did, and we got those sticky notes up. And for me, it was like, wow, we do a lot of really, really good stuff. We do a lot of really good stuff. We just don't have a system. Like, it's great, but it's all over the place. It's like, and we do it every job, but we don't do it the same time every job. We don't do it the same way every job. It's different. And like, so when we had all those sticky notes up and I'm looking at it and I'm just like, this is something that we can work with here. Like, we have a lot of good stuff. And if we can get this down and do it the same way every time, and people all know this and our guys know this, and really, like, our lead guy, when we went through this with him, he was surprised at how much goes on behind getting a job. Like, we throw him on a job, and he does whatever he needs to do to get it done. But it's so there was no system. There was like, okay, we're here, so I was always answering his calls. But when we had it up on the board and we had all these great things in place, it was like, wow, we can work with this. If we can get this down on paper, out of our heads and onto some paper, this is something we can grasp. It's tangible, and we can do this.
Yeah.
I think we had the realization of, like, we do have good things going on. And of course we had some need to create or need to modify or need to, come up with, but there were so many things on our sticky notes that we already do. So that was, I think, made us feel good. Like, okay, we do a lot of these things. And I think, that was like kind of eye-opening too, to be like, wow, yeah, we do that every single time, but it's not always at the same time as the last job, or it's not. And so it was really eye-opening to just see it on the wall and be like, wow, okay, we can do this. We just need to put it on paper and make it real.
It's often one of the points that many of our clients are like, oh my gosh. And to your point, like, it's really also, I think, validating to see it all up there and be like, we're doing some good stuff here. We just need to get it consistent, and we need to have a process and a system that we're following every time. So tell me a little bit about, like, how did that feel to you, John? I'm guessing a sense of relief to be like, oh my gosh, wow. Like, I think this is really going to work. We can build on this to create.
It was totally a relief. I mean, we still have it on the wall. I still go in there and look at it because, we're still putting together the this is how we do it document, because that's always going on. But it made everything, you start thinking about everything. Like, it didn't, now it's got me thinking, just in general on everything. And we like that so much that we're having a meeting at the end of this month with our operations to do the exact same thing with the operations team, so that they can say what they need to make their job more efficient, better, more productive, and they're going to run the show, and we'll write them down and put the sticky notes up for them. Yes. So we're going to have that whole wall with the up to Nail the Handoff, and then we're going to have operations past Nail the Handoff, so that we can have it all on paper. And so it was that good that we're doing this for the field as well. And so we're excited for that. We've talked to the guys, they're all on board. I got them all thinking, like, tell me what you need. I don't care if you need a laborer, if you need a different tool, if you need a different system, I want to know about it. And they're definitely buying in. Like, you can tell that they're excited about it. Which is really what we want. We want a company that people are excited to come work for. We're excited to come here and be here, and we're excited to make the people that we're working for happy. So it's nice.
Yes. A couple of things you said that I want to touch on. And the first is that this genuinely is meant to be kind of a rinse and repeat. We're guiding you and teaching you how to do this. And then you now can take it and do it again. So you can do it for your sales process. You can do it for your operations process, your warranty, whatever parts of your business you're like, okay, we need something here. You just pull everyone together who applies to it and help them, have everyone help create that process. And the second part of that is now your team owns it. They own it and they want to do it. And so if something's not working, you get to pull them back and say, all right, well, what do we need to do to fix this? This is your process. What do we need to do? So I love so many things about what you're sharing and what you're saying with that. I know there was another part of this program that it's one of the bonuses of this program, but it's helping you to realize the benefit of getting paid for your estimates. And from what I recall, you did not do that before this program, correct?
Well, so I have been going to this convention in Providence. JLC runs it. Todd goes and speaks there every now and again. I've been doing it for years and years and years. And every single year I would go to the Get Paid for Estimates program. And, I would put my hand up. Excuse me. Yeah, not in my area. Nobody charges for estimates. I can't do it. I must have done that for 15 years straight. And 2 Decembers ago, I was like, we're done. So before I started SYCB, I was like, we are not doing this, because we would do estimates. Some estimates took us 40 hours, and we would send it out and we'd never even get a call back, let alone, okay, let's work on this. So what we did is I decided that based on the size of your job, we're going to start charging for estimates. And this was 2 years ago. We're still fine tuning it, but it was scary because I was like, who's going to pay us? And we went in and we explained our process, and we said, we're going to give you a free preliminary budget number, which is basically, it's one sheet of paper that says, we think your job's going to come in between this and this, high number being this, low number being this, based on our experience with this architect, with the plans. We'll give you one sheet of paper. If you would like us to do it, what we call a DCA, detailed cost analysis, it will cost you X amount of dollars. And it was between, I think a cheap one was $600 and an expensive one was $1,200, because we didn't know this is before SYCB. We didn't know what to charge. We didn't know what to do. So we were like, we're doing it. And it immediately filtered out people that we really didn't want to work for. So we are currently in the process of figuring out how to get away from that preliminary stage and make it a pre-construction process, which we're working on, and that's what we started doing recently. But so we did charge, but we weren't really, it wasn't an effective way to do it. It definitely weeded out the people that we didn't want to work for. So we are charging for estimates, but I don't know that we're charging the way that we would like to ultimately be charging.
Okay.
So that's what's going on with us right now.
Hey, it's Todd here. Let me ask you a question. Do you own your construction business, or do you feel like it owns you? Are you spending too much of your time in day-to-day firefighting? Maybe it feels like Groundhog Day, where you're just dealing with the same issues day after day after day. Do you feel like you're always behind? Maybe you feel like you wake up in the morning, you're 2 or 3 hours behind, like you can never get caught up, no matter how many hours you put in. Maybe you feel like you're stuck. If you think about it, maybe you started your business to achieve something, to have more freedom, to make more money, but maybe it feels like a trap right now. When it comes to taking time off, taking a vacation, it's kind of a joke because you can't really get away from the business. It's this constant pressure, right? And it's building, it's getting worse, or it hasn't changed in the past few years, and it's wearing you down. So if that's you, I get it. Look, I've been there. Over the past 25 years, I've owned a construction business. I've scaled a construction business up to $11 million in revenue and grew it up to 50 employees. And I also managed over $300 million worth of projects. And over the course of my career, I've worked with some really large contractors, companies doing hundreds of millions, even $1 billion in revenue a year. And on those projects, I figured out that there's this secret phase of every project that the big companies obsess over. And it's where the real profits are made or lost. It's where the schedules are made or lost. And nobody's telling small business owners about it, especially in the residential space. We've created this unique framework to tap into that secret phase. And over the past several years, we've been teaching it to hundreds of construction business owners. And it's been life-changing for a lot of the guys. And you may have heard some of them on the podcast talk about how things are different for them. So this has worked for hundreds of our clients, and I want to share this framework with you in a completely free online training where I'm going to break down the real root cause of why you're stuck in constant firefighting mode. There's a trap that you're likely stuck in. I'll also show you how CEOs of big companies think about scaling a construction business, and I'll also teach you all about that framework so you can tap into that secret phase of every project where profits are made or lost. So if you want to get your hands on that free training, go to constructionleadingedge.com/scale. That's constructionleadingedge.com/SCALE.
But it got you over that, like your mindset of being like,
Yes.
"Oh, I can't do this."
Totally
and now you're
changed.
like, we're doing
Yes.
this.
Yes, we are doing this. Yep.
Yeah. And you even had mentioned right before we hit record that you are now like, you're like, well, what about these small jobs? Or can we
Yes.
still charge for these? Can you tell us a little bit about that little story that you shared with me?
We had 2 jobs to go to yesterday. And as I told you earlier, my mind is totally spinning and interested and excited about business. And I'm like, do I want to do these do I even want to bother with these? And,
Yeah.
I came in and I'm sitting at my desk and Shannon came in and she's like, why don't we just tell these people, this is how we do it. And this is this is what we charge. And I said to Shannon, I'm like, yeah, we don't have a script or anything. And so we jotted a couple things down on paper and we went to these 2, and they're smaller jobs, they're $80,000, which we don't do a lot of that. It's great filler work for our guys when we have big jobs going on. And we told them exactly what we're doing. We started off, we're different. This is how we're going to do things. And, we went to 2 different jobs. I don't know if you want to add anything to it, but we told them what we were going to do and they can take it or leave it.
We were very like, this is just how we do it. And if that's not something you want to do, no big deal. Like, that's okay. But this is what we do. So it's kind of like when you stand your ground and you just say, like, I'm the professional here and I'm going to tell you what we do and you're not going to tell me what I do.
Yes.
It felt good.
Yeah. Wow, you guys have definitely come a long way in the short time that I've got to work with you, which we'll chat about that just in a moment. But tell me, after now you've gone through the whole SYCB program, you've clearly done a lot of work and you have a lot of excitement for things to continue moving forward. What would you say is the most beneficial part of this program?
My everyday involvement in the projects that are going on has gone way down because we've given let's call him our super. We've empowered him to make the decisions. He talks more with the homeowners. He tells the guys where they're going. So I don't every morning I don't get those calls, where are we going, boss? That's all delegated somewhere else. So it frees up my time. And we've also time blocked so that we can work on our business 3 times a week for certain, it's the same every week. So we can work on our business instead of in it. And so it's definitely freed up my time. And even just the mornings would drive me crazy when I'm driving to work and I don't know where they're going because I haven't looked at it. So like implementing that 2-week look ahead really helps take all that stuff off my plate. So my morning is usually free to do different stuff.
I think just empowering our super to kind of be like, you can do it. You've been doing it here, like, training wheels off kind of thing, which, they're still on a little bit, but he knows when to ask questions and he knows when he can make a decision and he knows when to call John and when to call Shannon. And I think all of that has really gelled a little bit for him. And I think he feels confident to do what he can do. So that's been really effective for our whole business, be it the homeowner communication, all of it, the managing our field staff, knowing when to order material, like all of that has kind of transformed in the past month, I would say.
Wow. And how are things different for both of you now?
It's quieter. It's a lot quieter. I'm going away next week. I was away 3 weeks ago. I'm going away next week. Shannon's going away the following week. We have 2 guys out this week and things are running smooth. Everything's running okay. There's nobody, oh my God, who's here? Nobody knows what happened. Because when somebody goes away, whether it's myself, Shannon, John, whoever it is, everybody knows what they're responsible for. Everybody knows, okay, who to contact now if he's not around. So like we made it a point, our super's away this week. We haven't reached out to him once, and when he left, he's like, listen, call me if you need me. I'm like, okay, you just go enjoy your vacation. We don't want to, you go be you. It's nice. It really is. It's a little calmer here. Phone's still ringing, still doing estimates, and it's just nice and calm, and everybody's on board, I think.
What about for you, Shannon?
I agree. I think there's been a lot less phone calls, and that's important because, a half-hour phone call here, a 10-minute phone call here, like it all adds up. And I think we're free to think big and get our systems in place, and it makes a big difference. And I think it's just like, it's like a snowball. As the more you can do that, the more you can do that. And it's just been nice to see that. And I think, like you mentioned with vacation, like, you've been doing this forever. I don't know that you've ever been able to go on vacation and not get phone calls, but I think we're getting to that point where it's like, okay, John's not here this week, and that's okay. There's always going to be a question or two until there's not. So I think we're doing a good job of like looking to achieve that, and everyone's on board to do that. So I think everyone feels empowered, including ourselves. So it's encouraging.
Plus, she's my daughter. So like when I'm away on vacation and I just call to check in, it doesn't even have to be about business. It'd be about, hey, how's everything going? And how's everything at the office as well? It doesn't have to be that way. So, but we check in anyway, just because we're family. So it's nice.
What are you 2 most excited about for the future?
When we started, we were in the middle of doing 5 or 6 jobs, right? And so we have since landed 3 jobs, but we hadn't done the Nail the Handoff while we were with you guys. So we are excited. We have 3 Nail the Handoffs to do, and they're not huge jobs, but they're great jobs to get started on. I'm really excited about that. Aside from that immediate stuff, I'm excited for bigger, calmer, more laser focused, hiring our standards. I'm excited for all that stuff. But, right off the bat, we're excited to do some Nail the Handoffs that we have 3 of them ready to go. On a larger scale, we're really excited to grow our business. And we think that the sky is the limit here. So,
yeah, I'm excited to kind of figure out where we want to go with this, whether it is, get into a little bit of design or something like that. I mean, I have a lot of thinking to do on that, but it's nice to see, you can probably add to this, but I'm not sure he ever thought of this as such a long-term thing. I don't think he expected any of his daughters to be like, yeah, I want to jump on board. So it just makes it all like that more exciting to be like, what can we do? How do we do it? And like keeping the ball rolling in that sense.
It's a great thing to sit here and literally discuss with Shannon, like, what are the things that you really like to do? What are the things you don't like to do? Because we don't want to go towards stuff you don't like to do. I don't want to go towards stuff I don't like to do. Having everything systematized and in place gives us the opportunity to say, okay, let's steer this ship this way a little bit. I think this is a great area to go in, or I think this is a great area to go in. When you have all the systems in place and everybody knows what they're responsible for, we have the ability and the time to say, okay, let's try this market, or let's get involved in more built-ins, or let's get involved in whatever it is, try and get into new homes. That's the exciting part that we have, I think.
Very exciting. You have so many new options now, probably that you'd never
Yes.
even considered. Wow, that's great. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure to get to coach both of you through this program and to see your progress as we went week to week. And you've done a fantastic job. So thank you so much for joining me today, as well as for being such great clients. And I've enjoyed very much working with you. Thank you.
That's
Same
great.
here.
Same here. It's been great.
Hey, it's Todd here. One last thing. Before you go, let me ask you something. Do you find yourself constantly putting out fires that never should have started in the first place? Are you working 50, 60, 70 hours a week, but you just feel like you're barely keeping your head above water? Maybe you're spending too much of your time in low-level firefighting type activities. Maybe every problem lands in your lap and you're thinking, how can I possibly keep up with all of this chaos, much less grow this thing? Or maybe you're thinking, why would I want to grow this business? So if you're a construction business owner and you feel trapped in your business, feel like it's keeping you from being present with your family, maybe you even feel like your business is driving a wedge between you and your spouse or you and your family, and you can't take a real vacation, there's constant chaos, then let me tell you, there's a way out, all right? My team has helped hundreds of construction business owners solve those exact problems. And the first step that all of our clients took was to schedule a call with my team. So I want to invite you to schedule a call with my team. And on that call, you're going to get crystal clear on three things. Number one, the real root cause of some of the biggest problems in your business. Number two, your goals and outcomes that you want to achieve. Number three, you'll have a clear roadmap that you can follow to turn those goals and outcomes into a reality. All right. So for a lot of the people who've had these calls, it's been the best hour they've spent working on their business in a long, long time, maybe ever. So here's the deal. This year is going to be over before you know it. So my question for you is, are you going to have another year of almosts? Are you going to have another year of almost hitting your goals, almost making changes, almost getting there? Or is it going to be another year of maybe going backwards, going in the wrong direction? Here's the deal. If you want different results, you need to take different actions, okay? You need to make some different decisions. This stuff is not going to randomly happen. Your business is not going to magically fix itself. It's going to get worse on its own, okay? So if you want different results, you've got to make some different decisions. You've got to take some different actions. So if that's you, if you want to take some different actions, you want some help, then book a call with my team by going to constructionleadingedge.com/apply. Don't wait till it's too late, all right? Unfortunately, we occasionally talk to people and we figure out it's too late for us to help. So if you know you need to make some changes in your business, maybe you're a little scared, you're not sure how it's gonna work out, but you know you need to make some changes, you've got to do something different, then go schedule your call if you're a construction business owner by going to constructionleadingedge.com/apply, APPLY, and book your call. We'll talk soon.